Transmoodiness, a podcast where we proudly say the quiet part out loud and wear our hearts on our sleeve. Sipping a tea while listening to this podcast is encouraged. Everyone is lying all the time. Why I'm never listening to a person's words again. Living in a world where 50% of people are chronic people pleasers and the other 50% say what they think the other party wants to hear is venomous. Unfortunately, adulthood has been a game of mental gymnastics and broken promises which everyone, unknowingly, has subscribed to. Was the class on high self-esteem for teens and young adults at capacity? When can I enroll in nonverbal communication 101 for grown-ups? Do people who are fluent in this language actually exist? At the universe, I know you like to take things literally, so please do not send a PhD candidate narcissist in my direction for a crash course. I'm just now crawling out of the hole I fell into dealing with decades of inauthenticity and contempt, not realizing their disrespect isn't free. The only form of payment accepted is self-respect, and the return on investment is garbage. Over the years, I've created a self-guided curriculum to navigate human connection and nonverbal cues to remain emotionally regulated. Although new lessons are never ending, it would be a disservice to gatekeep my findings. The silent side-eyer. It's important to be observant in one way or another to know when this action is coming into play. When someone is giving the silent side-eye, they're likely clapping with the crowd while feeling disdain, and that's where the nonverbal communication speaks volumes. I've observed eye-rolling while receiving accolades, quickly changing the subject when expressing something positive, for example, a new opportunity, being recognized in a pragmatic light, or anything involving leveling up, and feeling drained or low after multiple interactions, even if they seemed positive. These types of people are the worst because I'm required to dig into the past to find context clues that affirm my intuition, monitor how they speak about others, and turn on the spiritual part of my brain to determine why my stomach has been hurting. The entertainment pimp. If someone has a lovingly toxic relationship with Spotlight, they will always strive to be in it and use those closest to them as the lighting guys. This looks like making a joke in front of a crowd at the expense of someone else, a, quote, friend being quick to laugh with others when something unideal happens, and using experiences that are not their own to connect with a group of people that have no business knowing that information. And don't get me started about a bitch that tells her man your secrets so they can gossip about you over dinner rather than address the fact that they've overstayed their relationship by several years. The generosity police. Another trickster. This person comes off sweet, open, and vulnerable, but it's later revealed that those actions were calculated. I'm a very slow mover when it comes to friendships and relationships. The reason being that I feel things heavily, and I don't have time to drag myself out of a trauma bond, especially for a hoe I don't know. People are waking up to this archetype, but for those who haven't, these are the signs. People who open up about troubling life experiences immediately, possibly even shedding tears at their first hangout, and expect similar details to be shared directly after they're finished. Those who do nice things or buy nice gifts out of the kindness of their hearts, but are quick to mention those possessions would have never been obtained without them. And individuals who, again, do things out of the kindness of their heart, but have secretly been keeping score and, like clockwork, use this as a reference point at their earliest convenience. I've been a tit-for-tat kind of girl in the past, which is another reason I know the archetype well. It never did me any good to be kind, only in hopes of receiving kindness back. In fact, it made me even more of a and not in a good way. Okay, do I believe everyone on earth is a liar? No. Do I believe people are intentionally living life unauthentically? Also, no. But I do believe that in order to protect myself, I will always have to use some level of discernment with those I do and do not know. I believe many people consider others before they consider themselves, even if it's to their own detriment, leaving them feeling empty. As a conscious adult, my goal is to help those I'm forming connections with align their actions with their words so I can continue building genuine relationships with them and myself. Truth be told, Self-Esteem and Nonverbal Communication 101 is in session, and there's a new professor in town. Welcome to the deep dive discussion. You guys, for this one, I was about to say I want to jump right in, and then I was about to explain how I was just on a trip to Sedona. Well, yes. I just got back from Sedona 3 days ago. I was in nature. I was at a wedding. I was hanging with my mom and my sister. And honestly, none of them have anything to do with this piece because I actually started writing this about a week before I actually published it. And luckily, I did not publish it the same day that I wrote that shit because wow. Everything I was feeling was raw. My dad asked me this earlier. He called me and asked if this was inspired by someone. And I was just like, it's inspired by people in everyday life. I guess that was kind of a lie because it was inspired by a specific person. But then once I honed in on that situation and I just felt my feelings, I realized that I was seeing it in so many other people too. So while that one little instance, it made me upset, it actually really wasn't even about that person. It usually never really is. It's usually about seeing the bigger picture. And as said, by the end of this piece, I don't think everyone is a liar per se, but I do think everyone is lying. I do. And maybe not all of the time. Now I'm lying. Because people do be bullshitting a lot of the time. We'll say a lot of the time. People be bullshitting. People be lying. People be flaky. People be saying things that they don't quite mean. And I'm not even acting like that I don't. Because I do, and I have before. And sometimes I commit to things, not so much anymore, but I do commit to things that I maybe don't want to do just for myself to be well, this could be a great opportunity just to get to said opportunity, and it was as whack as I thought it was going to be. I really don't practice that anymore, but I do say no to a lot of things because I always say that I'm working, which is not a lie. And while I can look back on all of these archetypes that I've listed, there is something to be learned about every single one of them because, as said, I don't think these people are intentionally doing things. I think most people do have a good heart. I think the way that it comes off is not good. Am I being too broad? Okay, I guess I'll just explain a situation. I was having a situation at one point last week because I had gotten into a little argument with someone, okay? I said my piece, I moved on from it, and then I was explaining the situation to someone else. And they opened my mind about the situation. They gave me more perspective. And yes, they felt for me, but also they led me down a path of being more empathetic, which I do appreciate, but it didn't really remove the rage and the anger because I have to feel it. I have to feel it, okay? I have to. If you don't start feeling that shit, you're going to start getting random lumps around your body. And then you're going to have diseases. So I'm just going to let myself feel it. But within those feelings, I started to pay attention to different types of interactions that I was having with people. I could go on for days. There's the flaky person. They know that they're not going to do X, Y, and Z, and they still commit to it anyway because they think that's what you want to hear. It's not that people are wrong for doing that because I feel like the reason people adapt those types of traits is because there's a situation in their life causing them to do that to survive. It's just that the brain is so mechanical, you don't know when you need to turn that system off. You don't know when you need to cut that software off and delete it off of the computer completely. It's hard to know. It's something that, as said, you have to be very conscious about. And it's not easy to be, let me stop, because that's weak mindset shit. But being conscious about those things don't come easily when you are not intentional with your life, with your movements, with your day. And I don't believe most people are. I do believe most people are just trying to get by. Most people are just trying to get to the weekend so that they can turn their brains off again with drugs and alcohol, which is a drug. I'm not saying that these things are wrong. I'm saying that people are doing what they think that they need to do to survive and get better. I understand it. I had my party phase too. I'm not in it right now, which is why I'm just observing it from a different light, but I do not want anyone to feel like I'm judging them. Even if you're any of those archetypes, which if you are, you're probably not like clocking it. But if you are clocking it, kudos to you. That is the first step, and it is the biggest anyway. This piece was written because I think it is so important for us to have a little bit more discernment. Mostly in part because people are trying to please you, or people are trying to tell you what they think you want to hear so that they can get a thing out of you. Do I think it's all bad? Not all of it. I think these habits are formed, as said, because there's a situation in life that happens where it needs to be formed for survival. But I also think a lot of people are on autopilot. And I also think not being aware of that is detrimental to my well-being and my health. And I can say that about others. I won't, because I don't want to put that on anyone else who maybe doesn't feel that way. But for me, that is so detrimental to me. I think that's why I have so many deep conversations. Like with my friends, I have deep conversations. And it feels good, and it feels authentic, and it feels raw. The only code I have not fully been able to crack is with the men, y'all. If you're a man, please leave a comment. Why aren't you tapping in like that? Like, please. We're trying to have real conversations with you. We're not trying to talk about your little Chipotle burrito that's 3 sizes too big that you inhaled in 12 seconds. I need to know why you decided not to eat all day so that you did inhale that Chipotle burrito in 3 seconds. Life is so much deeper. Okay. You guys know I'm filming this at 12:30 a.m. and maybe that's why I'm getting into it like this. You know what? Maybe I need to stop stopping myself. Am I being an op? Am I being an op to my own self? Jeez. Either way, is everyone lying all the time? Kinda. I don't think they're doing it intentionally though. And I think that's where we have to swoop in, and we have to be open, and we have to be present, and we have to understand what's going on. We have to read those nonverbal cues, even though it's hard, even though if you don't have street smarts or you don't have book smarts, whatever smarts you need for it, it can be a little bit difficult to be picking up on these things. I'm not even going to fret. But for your well-being, let me stop. But for my well-being, it is essential for me to be aware and for me to discuss these things. Hopefully, the receiving party can be receptive to it, but if they aren't, that also says a lot too. So I don't think I have anything new to say, but let me leave you with this one more time. Use a little bit more discernment with people that you do know and with people that you don't know. Everyone is going to be happier. Everyone is going to be able to communicate better and be open and vulnerable. And it's not going to do anything but make you stronger. And if you and that person fall off, it is because they were weighing you down. You guys, this was amazing. This was fun. As usual, thank you so much for listening to the Transmoodiness podcast. I am really starting to love being a moody girl. Because wow, I love that I was able to put these feelings into words, and I feel like so many people can relate to them. Anyway, subscribe, leave a comment. I want to know about any of those types of people that you're running into. Are you one of those types of people accidentally? Have you been aware of the fact that you need to be more self-aware? Let me know where you're at in this life. I want to have more chats about this. I know I'm not the only one. And I want to open up the floor to everyone. Let's have a discussion. You know what? I'm going to start a chat right after this, hopefully. I'm a little sleepy. It's 12:30. New posts every Sunday. This week was Monday because it's Sedona. But every Sunday, usually, we get a new article. And every Tuesday, we get a new pod. Alrighty. Love you so much. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Sunday Morning Juice Trans Moodiness podcast. I want to hear your experiences and I want to hear what you have to say. So make sure to subscribe on Substack and wherever you get your podcasts. Join the community, join the chat room, and leave your comments. There is so much to unpack in this life. See you next Tuesday.